Hey, it's the Friday Night Podcast. I did all my partying last night, so it's time to work. What do you say we get started, guys?
Yeah, buddy, you've downloaded Tropical Talk Radio, where we talk about all things entrepreneurship, travel, and lifestyle. If you're interested in more about this program, check out tropicalmba.com. And if you sign up for our mailing list, I will personally send you 50 free podcast episodes that take you along on our journey and expose the insider story on how we started a $1 million honest-to-goodness product business while we traveled the globe.
All right, we are joined again by the spectacular Travis Jamison from Supremacy SEO. We got an SEO question from a good friend, Travis. Decided to pull you in today to get your advice. This is actually a pretty traumatizing problem. We're going to talk about sabotage SEO, something that we've sort of talked about behind the scenes quite a bit, but now it's affecting one of our friends, and so let's talk about it out in the open.
We've all thought about doing it too, but now it seems to be happening to us, right, or to one of us.
I've actually tested it myself on a WebMD page and negative SEO'd it, and it's never came back.
So basically what we're talking about is this idea that if you send bad links to one of your competitors, their site will derank. And that happened to one of our friends. So on May 25th, we seem to have gotten over 1,000 new links, all from crappy sources. We are now in the process of trying to disavow the links, which is a tool that Google allows you to log into their site and say, these are spam links, basically, correct? Contact the sites and get them taken down, etc. It's a really scary thing. If sabotage SEO becomes the norm, then surely links will continue to be discounted going forward. I mean, the big move in SEO in general, because this is sort of a really advanced SEO topic, has been away from links over the past 4 years. And you're sort of a link guy. I mean, but that's not true, actually. You were, when I first met you, you were like, here's the secret. On page is the jam. You know what I mean? And and now when you talk to guys like Alexei, he's like all on page. Same with Charles from SEO Charles. So what do you think about this movement away from links? Do you think that's a long-term thing?
I don't think there's that much movement away from links. They're just as powerful as ever. Go and Google payday loans right now. And the guys ranking at the top are using mass quantity spam links. And these guys are making 5 figures a day off one affiliate site.
Interesting. So let's talk about what is sabotage SEO then. There's sort of this catch-22 of sabotage SEO, which is that, if it's the case that Google's going to bring your site down for like jacking up your links with bad sources, then it's sort of obvious that you could just go do that to other people, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what they're doing.
And this actually works.
It does.
So this is terrifying.
It is.
I mean, Google has to know this is a problem. Are there discussions on SEO forums or what's
There's been a lot of them. Luckily, it's not that common from what I understand. Not that many people are douchebags going around and do that to their competitors, but it's possible.
All right, so let's dig into sort of what the typical advice would be for our friend versus what your advice would be, what the SEO pros would do. But first, let's talk about this algo versus manual docking. Can you explain to us what the difference is?
Yeah. So when people get penalties, there's 2 different types. One is an algorithmic penalty. That's when the Google algorithm has analyzed your site and said, you're doing something bad, you're penalized. And this is what 99.9% of all penalties are. Manual penalties are when a Google employee has come across the site, looked at it, or looked at your backlinks and said, something's not right here, you're spamming, doing something wrong, and you're penalized.
Is there a way to tell the difference?
Webmaster Tools will actually tell you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it'll tell you if you have a manual penalty. It won't tell you if you have an algorithm.
Interesting.
Huh.
Unnatural link notices.
I didn't think people actually worked at Google.
Yeah, there's no phone numbers anywhere. Actually, there are phone numbers. We just signed up for Google Business Apps, and there's a phone number in there now, believe it or not.
I called them, actually.
How about that?
Yeah.
So people do work there.
Huh.
Interesting.
Let's talk about the typical advice, Travis. Let's walk through what the typical advice would be, which would be to disavow all links. Does that work?
There's questions. I say no. There's a few successful cases that you can find on forums and stuff, but most of the time, nothing happens. And a lot of the cases where people are saying it's working, you're not really sure if that's the case. I was in a forum discussion and some guy said, well, it does work. It might take 4 to 12 months before it kicks in. I'm like, Well, how do you know 4 to 12 months later that that's what it is?
So with disavow links, you're basically saying disavow all links to my site. They're all bad.
You can actually pick the links that are bad.
Okay.
And if you're disavowing them, you should do it at the domain level instead of the individual link level.
Okay, so typically people are going to say this, but we're not clear on that. Typically people are going to say manually contact all the websites where the bad links are coming from. Does this work?
If you have like 8 bad links, then maybe. But most of the time, if you're getting negative SEO, you're going to have thousands of bad links from thousands of different domains that no one cares about.
It's got to be a thankless journey, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to freaking redblueshoestots.co.uk, and there's nobody that even runs that
This
site.
is where canned responses come into play.
Yeah, exactly. And this site might have 30,000 blog comments on the page that yours is. They don't care.
So finally, the typical advice would be to file a reconsideration request with Google.
Yeah. And the thing with that is that reconsideration requests only work with manual penalties from everything we are told. And most of the time, you're only going to have an algorithmic penalty, so it's useless.
Right. 99% of penalties are algorithmic penalties.
Exactly.
So if I think about this in terms of Google, you come to me and you're like, oh, my niche site just went down because somebody spammed it with all these links. Will you please reconsider? And they say, we'll get you on the next update. Get in line, right? There's 10,000 other people, right?
Exactly. And there's the bad thing, too. Let's say you have done, some link building yourself to the site that Google wouldn't agree with. Besides all the negative SEO stuff, you go and say, hey, look at my site. Let's make it better. They look at your site. You've SEO'd this and give you a manual penalty on top of it all.
So, that strategy is not going to work, in other words, if you're a gray hat SEOer.
Not at all.
Okay.
Right.
So
They would not like me.
It's like going in front of the judge and asking him to reconsider your speeding ticket when you already got 5. Right?
you already got a rap sheet.
When you're drunk in court.
All right. So it sounds like the typical advice is putting us in a hot spot. I mean, wait and pray, basically.
That's it.
So let's we've got a lot riding on this SEO stuff. I know our friend has a lot riding on it. So let's talk about the Travis advice.
Yeah.
So let's walk us through what the SEO pro would do.
All right. The first thing, people will disagree with what I'm going to say here. Not everyone agrees with me on this. But the first step is to disavow the links anyway. So it probably doesn't work, but it probably can't hurt either. So you might as well just get it out of the way.
Got it.
Second thing is you might be enjoying new rankings. Check your rankings first. Spam still works, as we just discussed. So don't go getting rid of all the links that are making you a lot of money.
So check your analytics first, in other words.
Yeah, check your analytics, check your rankings.
One of the things you were telling us earlier before we got on the show here is that, a lot of these big sites like Huffington Post, The Onion and stuff like that, they have millions of links pointing towards them, right? And a lot of them are spammy.
Yeah.
Right? And somehow they still rank quite well for some of these key terms.
Absolutely. With all those links going to their site, all the link juice is swishing through. So they put up a new post, they're going to rank quickly.
So there's a chance that this could actually help you.
Absolutely. I
Look on the bright
spam lots of sites.
Look on the bright side of things. So what about building counterlinks?
Okay, this is a big controversial thing. Let's say somebody spams your site with a couple thousand bad links. The chances of you getting a penguin penalty is high, but penguin's penalties aren't in effect all the time. Penguin refreshes every little bit of time.
And penguin is the penalty that accounts for anchor text variation.
Yeah, so you haven't
So
been
for 5
diversifying
years, I was
keywords.
like cat furniture, cat furniture, cat furniture. I own a cat furniture business, and then boom, I get blasted for that.
Exactly.
So that's what people are doing when they're doing the Sabotage SEO is they're taking advantage of this new penguin thing, and they're sending. I mean, that's part of the problem with Google making the algorithm public, right? Is now all of us are going around. Well, some of us are going around pointing cat furniture links everywhere, and it's hurting.
Exactly.
So the way that you're describing this, Travis, and I'm just getting up to speed on some of this stuff, but basically there's these different types of Google police, right? There's like the IRS, there's the FBI, there's the CIA, right? So there's the penguin that rolls around, but they don't roll around your block all the time, right? It's just every once in a while.
Yeah, they're going to come rage every once in a while.
Got it.
All right. Well, so the penguin comes in, and it looks
Comes the penguin spy. It's good branding, really. It's like, it's just the penguin.
evil penguin. All right, so the penguin comes in and looks at your site, and you've got these bad links.
By the way, have you ever seen a penguin's feet? Terrifying. Terrifying. I'm just saying, maybe that's why they picked a penguin. Look up a picture of a penguin of this. All right, sorry.
All right.
And we're trying to be useful.
All right. So the penguin penalty rolls around, it looks at your site's backlinks, and they're not what it should be, and they give you the penalty.
Right.
So the option that I say and do sometimes is to counterbalance that. So you want to build what I call buffer links. These are like high quality links, real links that people would have, but you diversify your anchor text. So no keywords. No keywords will be used in any of the links. It will all be naked URLs.
So in other words,
stuff, branding.
You're assuming that the sabotage person is going to do, boom, here's 1,000 links, all anchor text optimized to screw you. So I'm going to go out and build 9,000 that are just going to be normal links and get the world right.
I don't think 9,000 has to be. I don't think you have to like necessarily overdo it. But if you're building quality links, you're not going to need as many, kind of theoretically. Nothing's set in stone. But just build as many high quality links as you can without any keywords.
So in other words, you're going to start accelerating your artificial link building efforts.
Yes.
Give us an idea. Let's say we have 1,000 spammy links pointed towards our site. How many would you start with?
As many as you can. Building quality is not always easy. But I would go and build maybe 100, maybe 200. Unique content, quality stuff, branding links. So when the Penguin refresh does come along, you might have a better chance of fitting inside the algorithm and not getting penalized, or even helping your site a lot more.
So in other words, keep calm and carry on. I mean, this is standard block and tackle supremacy SEO link building.
I really like what you're saying, Travis, here about for me visually, fitting into the algorithm. So basically, there's something wrong with your site. When Penguin comes by, they see, there's a thorn sticking out, right? But if you can build some of these links maybe to your site, it's like, although yes, you have all these spammy links, you have all these legitimate links, and then somehow again you fit into that box and you don't stick out. Right?
Exactly. There's nothing cookie cutter that you can just say this is exactly what I need, but you just have to kind of guess the best you can and get there. A lot of times it works.
And the idea is to blend back into the masses of the people that are supposedly doing things right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's walk through a specific checklist. I got 5 points here. You got a couple as well. All right, so let's step through what our friend should do. Maybe an action plan for them to consider. Number 1, only try to rank your inner pages because you can easily 301 redirect them. So what's the idea behind this?
When a penalty comes along, a Penguin penalty, it's usually on a page-by-page basis. It's not on the entire domain. So if you have, an inner page that has a penalty, you can redirect it into a new page. And if you do it right, you can shake the penalty and keep the link juice.
Got it. Number 2, you have building foundational links.
This would be to the new page. So if you create the new page on your site that's targeting the same keywords as you originally were, you build these foundation links, which are the same things as the buffer links, the high quality stuff, lots of generic, lots of branding, naked URL. Build those up, let Google index that. Builds up the authority. And then you transfer the 301 over and you have a better chance of shaking the penalty, keeping the link juice, and getting your rankings back, and probably better than it was before.
So this is like another sort of a way to diversify, basically. So you're basically saying you want to keep yourself diversified. You want to be ranking. So if it's like payday loan, and then it's like, next day loan, and then it's like long-term loan or whatever it's going to be, what are the products going to be, you're not focusing them on your main domain, but on /payday-loan. And then if that were to get sabotaged, you could easily 301 that to /payday loan, and then the Penguin penalty wouldn't be passed. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I never recommend doing a lot of link building to your homepage. That should be for branding purposes only. So this way, if you're ranking the inner pages and something happens, you can easily 301 that to another page.
Got it.
And I learned this the hard way. I have a brand and I did lots of gray hat stuff back in the day, and I got penalized for my brand name. And that's a terrible thing.
All right. I also have building a foundation content and Longtail strategy. So This is classic white hat. You got to be in the content game. You're going to be more diversified if you have more content coming out under more long tail potential key terms.
Yeah, you can't be hurt as bad. And then if somebody decides to spam one of your pages, it's just going to help your other pages. It's going to help the long tails go up.
It sounds to me like there's not a ton to do, in other words. Like this is a pretty shiitake situation. So I have 2 general pieces of business advice. One is enlist your karmic advantage, baby. Right? I mean, you're the better person in this situation. Doesn't that work out in business sometimes? If your competitors are going out there, if this is what they need to resort to, it's probably a good sign, right?
That it
Potentially.
is.
Yeah, I was thinking go spam everybody else. And you got 10 competitors that start spamming. But yeah.
Finally, look, SEO is a lead generation tool, right? It's not a customer development tool. So, focus on delighting the customers you do have, selling them more, increasing the lifetime value of your customers. This stuff's going to rubber band back. If you're continuing to put out great content on a consistent basis, your rankings, you're going to win in the long run. So if in the short run, somebody has sabotaged you, I think the key thing is asking yourself, what you're doing with your current customers.
Yeah, and I think, Travis, we've talked about this before in terms of like building a brand. Building a brand is the ultimate SEO, right? And
Absolutely.
one of the things that we're seeing now these days with a couple of our sites is people are actually searching more for our brand than they are for our products, right? And that's what you want because...
Well, and that's why you want to not be ranking that main page too.
Right, exactly, right? But that's the focus here, right? Is like you focus on building a brand, building customers, building a presence, and then you don't have to rely on any of this stuff as much, right? Because people come search for you. And
again, SEO becomes best place when it's this search and destroy tool. We got blasted on the portable bar company, and now, how are our rankings doing now?
They're good. We had to start a new site. They're good. Actually, we just
in the long run, we were focusing on our customers, we're focusing on our brand, and now we're back, baby. We're back in the game. Come and sabotage us.
I don't know if we ever told this story, but the reason we did it with Travis, actually, I think you helped us out. We did a bunch of gray type stuff with our first site. We did enough to move a bunch of products, right? And then we got penalized, and then we started a new
Pay for
site.
that first container, man.
We paid for the first container.
It was pre-Penguin.
Yeah.
Pre-Penguin.
And a lot of these...
We're like, what would be a great idea? You got to underline portable bar. Come on. I love that. Like, what was it? What was Matt Newton's heuristic for thinking about SEO? It's similar to what you were saying is like, look, anytime like something gets too obviously good, Google's going to come and whack-a-mole it.
Right, whack-a-mole.
I've always said everything popular is wrong when it comes to SEO.
That makes sense.
If you're doing, like, build my rank. I was preaching this, like, it's going down. Everybody knows about it, and it works.
Right.
Boom.
Right, makes sense.
All right, Travis Jamison, Supremacy SEO.com. Don't sabotage him. Just trying to be friendly here. All right, everybody. See you next time.
Bury a WebMD page.
There's also the option to send threatening emails to people. Just go off the chain.
Which works.
All right, thanks, Travis.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. Don't be shy. We've got a mailing list. Check it out at tropicalmba.com. Get yourself signed up, and we'll keep you up to date on everything we do, plus give you those 50 free podcast episodes. If you want to say, hey, check me out on Twitter at tropicalmba. We'll see you soon.